Just massage these 3 points and you'll fall asleep instantly like a baby. You're tired, but your body won't sleep. You lie in bed, eyes closed, begging your mind to quiet down. And yet, hour after hour, sleep slips further away. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. For millions of seniors, sleep doesn't come easily, not because they're not exhausted, but because their nervous system has forgotten how to relax. But here's the surprising truth. You can retrain your body to sleep deeply and naturally just by touching 3 small points every night. No pills, no side effects, no cost. Just a few minutes with your own 2 hands. And tonight, I'll guide you step by step. I'm Dr. William, and I've helped thousands of older adults rediscover peaceful sleep not through chemicals, but through quiet, gentle rituals rooted in both science and tradition. So if you're ready to sleep like your body still remembers how, please subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this journey. Let's help your body remember what peace feels like starting tonight. Part 1. Why sleep gets so hard after 60 and why it's not your fault. Let's be honest, nobody ever warned us that sleep would betray us as we got older. You spend your whole life running after time, and just when you finally retire and slow down, sleep runs away from you. But the real question is why studies show that over 50% of adults over age 60 experience some form of chronic sleep disturbance. It's not just about getting older, it's about how aging changes your internal biology. Here's what happens inside. Your body starts producing less melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that once worked like magic, becomes misaligned so you feel sleepy at the wrong times and alert when you should be resting. Your parasympathetic nervous system, the part that helps you relax, gets weaker from years of overstimulation. And emotionally, decades of silent stress, grief, and anxiety linger quietly in your nervous system, never fully discharged. The result, you may sleep 7 hours but still wake up tired, foggy, or even anxious. That's not normal aging. That's unresolved dysregulation, and your body's begging you to reset. But here's the hope. Just like muscles remember how to move, your nervous system remembers how to rest if you gently remind it, and that's what we'll do together. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how touch triggers your body's relax and restore system, backed by science, not just theory. Part 2, how gentle touch reawakens your body's forgotten ability to sleep. In the previous part, we discovered that aging doesn't steal sleep. It just disrupts the pathways that used to guide your body toward rest. So now comes the most important question. How do we restore those pathways? The answer isn't louder alarms, heavier medication, or more rigid routines. It's something simpler and far more powerful: your hands. That's right. Inside your fingertips are thousands of sensory nerves, directly connected to areas of your brain that regulate emotion, memory, breathing, and sleep. When you tap or press certain points, you stimulate the vagus nerve and parts of the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's built-in calm-down command center. A 2018 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that simple acupressure techniques improve sleep quality in adults over 60 by up to 68% within 2 weeks. And another study from the University of Hong Kong confirmed that light, rhythmic tapping on forehead and temples reduced nighttime awakenings by nearly half. It works not just because of the touch, but because of what the touch communicates. It sends this message to your body. You're not under threat. You're safe. You can let go now. Here's the part most people don't realize when your nervous system feels safe. Your brain waves shift from high-frequency beta waves, which signal stress and alertness, to slower alpha and theta waves, associated with calm, drowsy states and natural sleep. That's why tapping these key points before bed isn't just relaxing, it's biological reprogramming. Without it, your system stays in a loop of false alarms, always on edge, always preparing for danger even when you're lying safely in your bed. And the longer we ignore these signals, the more entrenched the pattern becomes, until even silence feels noisy and darkness feels heavy. But the good news is, it only takes a few nights to begin changing that pattern. And in the next part, I'll show you the exact first point on your body to tap, when to tap it, and how to breathe while doing it for maximum results. Because this isn't about theory, it's about action. And tonight, you begin. Part 3, the first point, the forehead where worry lives. Now that you understand why your body forgets how to sleep and how touch reawakens the nervous system, it's time to begin. We'll start with the first and most important point, the center of your forehead. This is the zone we often wrinkle when we're worried, frustrated, or overthinking. And it's no coincidence. Just beneath the skin here lies the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and, unfortunately, racing thoughts at 2:00 a.m. Studies from Stanford University show that prefrontal overactivity is one of the top causes of delayed sleep in older adults, especially those who report frequent worrying. And when this area stays active, it blocks the brain from shifting into deep wave sleep. That's why this point is our starting place. Tapping here doesn't just relax your face, it sends a signal through the vagus nerve to quiet the default mode network, the part of your brain that loops through thoughts about the past and future. In traditional Chinese medicine, this point is also known as yin tang and has been used for centuries to calm anxiety and insomnia. Here's how to do it. Sit comfortably or lie down. Gently place your index or middle finger on the middle of your forehead, about 1 inch above the spot between your eyebrows. Begin tapping lightly, slow and steady. Not hard, just enough to feel a soft pulsing beneath the skin. While tapping, breathe in deeply for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale for 6 seconds. Continue for 30 seconds to 1 minute. Many seniors say that within 3 to 5 nights of doing this, they begin to notice something remarkable. Their thoughts stop chasing each other. The space between each breath becomes longer. Their eyelids get heavier, and finally, sleep returns, not by force, but by invitation. But remember, this is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll move just a few inches to the side, to the temples where mental pressure builds up and where we store the tension of the day. Let's keep going. Part 4, the second point, the temples releasing inner pressure. Once you've calmed the center of your thoughts, the forehead, it's time to move sideways. To the temples. If your forehead is where worries live, then your temples are where they settle and accumulate. That dull ache behind your eyes at the end of the day. That tight band of pressure around your head at 3 a.m. That's not just age. That's stress stored in silence. The temporal region is home to several cranial nerves and blood vessels that connect to your limbic system, the part of your brain that governs emotion, memory, and fear. When the area is tense, it traps circulation and increases mental fatigue, making it harder for your brain to shift into deep rest. One study from the American Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry found that seniors with chronic sleep issues showed elevated blood flow resistance in the temple region, and after just 10 days of gentle rhythmic massage, over 60% of participants reported fewer nighttime awakenings and improved mood upon waking. This is why touching the temples works. It doesn't just relax the skin, it clears the traffic jam of thoughts, tension, and stagnant energy stuck between memory and emotion. Here's how to apply it. Sit or lie down with your shoulders completely relaxed. Gently place your fingertips, index and middle fingers work best on each temple. Tap lightly with a steady, calming rhythm, just like the heartbeat of someone at peace. While tapping, breathe in slowly for 4 seconds, pause and exhale for 6 seconds. Do this for 30 to 45 seconds. Many seniors say this spot feels almost sacred, as if they're not just tapping skin, but releasing years of built-up thought loops, regrets, and unspoken fears. Without tending to this point, stress continues to pressurize the head, fogging your clarity, shortening your patience, and stealing the sweetness from your sleep. But the beauty of this practice is that each night builds upon the last. Each tap tells your body, it's okay to rest now. And once you've soothed the mind and eased the temples, there's one final bridge to cross the back of your neck. That quiet, stiff space that holds tension like a sponge, and blocks the flow between your head and body. And in the next part, we'll go there gently. Part 5, the third point, the back of the neck, the hidden gate to full body rest. After calming your thoughts and releasing tension from your temples, there's one last place where sleep still hesitates, the back of your neck. It's not as obvious as the forehead or temples, but it's just as important. Why? Because this area acts like a bridge between your mind and body. If it stays tight, your thoughts might quiet down, but your body still feels on guard. That's why so many older adults lie in bed thinking, I'm tired, but I can't let go. Let's look at the science. The base of your skull, where it meets your spine, is rich in nerve bundles from the cervical plexus, which help regulate posture, blood pressure, and even balance. When this region is tense, signals between brain and body get jammed, creating shallow sleep, frequent awakenings, and even dizziness or neck stiffness the next morning. A 2020 study in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that gentle massage or tapping of the suboccipital region just under the back of the skull helped increase REM sleep duration by over 30% in participants over age 65. Why? Because this region also connects to the reticular formation, a network that helps control sleep-wake transitions and bodily alertness. So when we relax the neck, we're not just releasing muscles, we're telling the entire body it's safe to power down. How to do it? Sit comfortably or lie flat with a small towel under your neck. Using 3 fingers, your middle ring, and pinky, begin tapping lightly from the left base of the skull, across the back of your neck, toward the right. Imagine drawing a soft semicircle with your fingers, just under the hairline. Keep the rhythm slow and smooth, synchronized with your breath. Breathe in for 4 seconds, pause, and exhale for 6 seconds. Continue tapping for 1 full minute. Many people describe this point as the most grounding of all 3. As you tap, your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, and your breath deepens, sometimes for the first time all day. But here's the truth. If we neglect this point, our body stays locked in fight or flight mode, even when the mind is tired. And no matter how many pills or teas you try, deep sleep won't come unless the body also agrees. The forehead calms your mind, the temples release your emotions, and the neck, it frees your body. Now that you've learned all 3 points, you're ready to anchor these practices with small but powerful bedtime habits to make the effects stronger and longer lasting. We'll explore that in the next part. Part 6, gentle bedtime habits that anchor the healing process. Now that you've learned all 3 tapping points, forehead, temples, and back of the neck, you're not just performing a technique, you're creating a message, a nightly rhythm that tells your brain and body, it's safe to let go now. But here's something many forget. Even the most effective method needs an environment to grow. Just like a seed needs good soil, your tapping needs supportive habits around it. Simple things that reinforce relaxation and prepare your system for deep, lasting sleep. Let's look at 3 of the most powerful bedtime habits that work hand in hand with tapping. 1. A warm glass of honey water, 30 minutes before bed. Honey isn't just sweet, it's sleep smart. According to a 2019 study published in Nutrients, natural glucose from honey promotes the release of tryptophan and serotonin, 2 compounds your body converts into melatonin, the sleep hormone. Combine that with warm water, and you create a gentle internal signal that says wind down. How to do it? Mix 1 teaspoon of raw honey into a cup of warm, not hot water. Sip slowly, 30-45 minutes before bedtime. It's comforting, hydrating, and biologically meaningful. 2. 1 hour of no screens. Give your brain back the dark. Blue light from phones and TVs suppresses melatonin production by up to 85%, according to research from Harvard Medical School. For seniors, whose melatonin is already reduced by age, this is even more damaging. It's like yelling at your brain to stay awake right when it's begging for rest. What to do instead? Turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bed. Use dim, warm-toned lights. Replace screen time with gentle activities, a short walk, listening to soft music, or even writing a gratitude note. When your eyes get the darkness they need, your brain remembers what night is supposed to feel like. 5 minutes of stillness. Let silence enter. You don't need to be a meditation expert. Just sit, close your eyes, listen to your breath. Neuroscience shows that even 5 minutes of intentional stillness increases alpha brainwave activity, which helps transition from wakefulness to sleep. You can pair this with your tapping or do it after. The key is consistency. When combined, these three habits create a safe, predictable signal that supports your nightly practice. They tell your nervous system, no more input, no more alerts, no more demands. It's time to heal. But this healing goes beyond muscles and nerves. In the next part, we'll pause to reflect on what sleep really means in later life. Not just as a function, but as a chance to reclaim a deeper relationship with rest, repair, and peace. Part 7, Sleep in Later Life, not just rest, but repair. We often think of sleep as a passive state, like turning off a light, but inside the aging body, sleep is one of the most active healing forces we still have. When you fall into deep, restorative sleep, your body doesn't rest, it gets to work. Your immune system scans for threats and begins subtle repair. Your brain's glymphatic system flushes out toxins that build up during the day. Your memories are sorted, emotional stress is balanced, and hormone levels reset. Your heart rate lowers, blood pressure stabilizes, and tissues quietly regenerate. Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, writes, sleep is the greatest legal performance-enhancing drug that most people are probably neglecting. And yet, over 40% of adults over age 60 report poor sleep quality. The consequences are serious. Lack of deep sleep is linked to higher rates of cognitive decline, falls, depression, and even increased risk of heart disease. But here's the good news. You don't need to reverse aging to improve sleep. You just need to remove the resistance, the inner noise, the tension, the silent alarms your body has been carrying for decades. That's what the 3-point tapping technique, paired with mindful bedtime habits, begins to undo. Night by night, breath by breath, you're retraining your brain to trust sleep again. And when sleep becomes consistent, not forced, you start to notice quiet changes. You wake up less groggy. You recall conversations better. You feel steadier on your feet. You smile more during the day. Because sleep isn't just the end of your day. It's the beginning of your resilience. And sometimes, rediscovering sleep means rediscovering hope. In our final part, I want to share a short, true story about one older man who had lost sleep and found it again not through a prescription, but through patience and touch. Let me take you there. Part 8, a true story of touch, trust, and recovery. I once visited a small nursing home nestled in the quiet hills of Oregon. It was a humble place. No luxury, just 30 seniors sharing gentle days and long, silent nights. One man stood out to me. His name was George, 81 years old, a proud father, a retired mechanic, and someone who hadn't slept more than 3 hours a night in almost a decade. He looked at me, half smiling, and said, "Doc, I've tried everything but hammering myself on the head. Sleep and I are just, not on speaking terms anymore." We didn't laugh. We just sat there quietly, and I gently asked, "George, would you be willing to try something very simple? No pills, just your hands." He shrugged. At this point, "I'll try anything." That night, I showed him the 3-point tapping method. Forehead, temples, back of the neck. We practiced together, slowly, in silence. He looked skeptical but followed along. Then he drank a cup of warm honey water, sat quietly in his chair, and said nothing. The next morning, I walked in expecting the same tired eyes. But George was standing, gently sweeping the porch. He looked up and said, 4 hours. That's the most I've slept in 10 years. I didn't even wake up for the clock. By the end of the week, he was sleeping 6. And by the end of the month, he was napping after lunch. smiling in the hallway, and telling jokes I could barely keep up with. It wasn't magic, it was permission. He finally gave his body permission to rest without guilt, without pills, without fear. And that's what I want for you. Your body is still listening. You don't need to fight it. You just need to remember how to speak its language again. Through gentle touch, through stillness, through belief. If this story touched you, please leave a comment below. I'm giving my body permission to rest. And if you know someone who's struggling with sleep, someone who feels like hope is running out, share this video with them. Let's help each other heal, one quiet night at a time. Don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Until then, I wish you stillness, softness, and the sweet return of deep sleep.